Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I do have my live sale starting tomorrow, Saturday the 18th. So there will be a lot of really fantastic things offered. So make sure that you stop in before you come in the chat. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. Of course, I do have things from past thrifts as well as a fresh thrift that I just picked up today. So there's always something different. So I did look on to some pretty nice things. I'm really excited about it. So we'll give it just a few minutes for the notification to get out, and then we will begin on this haul. And I also remembered, hey, Penny, welcome in. Deborah, welcome in. And we will begin on this haul because there's some things that I didn't even bring out. So, and there's Beth. Welcome in, everyone. And thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. There's always something fresh up in here. And thank you for the hearts. But the pictures, the couture pictures, all except for that little lady back there, will be up for sale. I need to get her on the wall, but the rest will be up for sale. If you're besides the glass, yes, besides the glass, there will be plenty of that. And welcome in, Laura. Good to see you. There's Nana. Good to see you. Yeah, she's going to be elevated here real soon. But the rest are for sale. So if they are pretty fantastic, and they did retail for $50 a piece, but they won't be that. But they're just really neat, especially the one that's got all the bracelets on it. And yeah. So where did she go? But anyway, those two particular ones, and welcome in, Katie. Good to see you. Those will be going up. So if anyone is interested in those particularly, that would be great for someone that wants something a little snazzy in their background. Here's one of them. Something like that. Or the other one, whatever I did with it. That would make a great backdrop. They're really classy. And Penny, I think you're new to my chat, and welcome in, sweetheart. Good to see you. Okay, Laura, you do that because I know when you do a live and you're talking, it's like that's why I keep my water here ready. Hey, Tammy, welcome in. But yeah, there will be a lot of things, just saying, you guys know how I roll. I usually bring it big. And welcome in, Penny, and everyone give Penny a nice warm welcome, and welcome to Gina's Glass. And you will see why here in just a few minutes that I chose that name, and I felt it was more fitting because I do deal in a lot of vintage glassware. It seems to be very popular. Thank you guys for welcoming her in, and hello, Lenore. Welcome in, Lenore. She's in everybody's chat. She is so helpful, and she's really sweet. So it's always good to have, I know, Deborah, because there's no telling what I'm going to say, but it's always in good taste. You know that. And I got a hair sticking out. We can't have that. I decided to wear my hair just a little bit different. Got a little bling going on up in there. Let's turn some lights on, guys. Oh my God, what is wrong with you? There we go. And there we have that bling. So I decided to, Brian's laughing. Are you laughing, Brian? I still have your things, Brian. No sweat there. But yes, I mostly glass, a lot of collectible items. A lot of the items, thank you, Lenore, are have names behind them and they're vintage, and that's the only thing that I pick because it seems to be what everyone loves. And hello, Ginger. I know, got the bling bling going on. But yeah, that's what I mostly deal in because everybody likes it. You know what they say, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Hey, Clint, welcome in. Good to see you. And hello, Penelope. Thank you. Thank you very much. I had my hair was a little bad on top, so I just covered it up. I remember when I first got started, and the wig was new and it was red and it was and I put that on and we laughed. I mean, it didn't look bad, but it was just funny. And I know it's around here somewhere, but it looked pretty good. I mean, it was, never a dull moment. So, did everyone hit that thumbs up out there? It's really important. Also, any comments that you would like to leave after this live helps with the algorithm of the channel. And every little bit helps. And there's Laura's link right there. And subscribe, if you guys don't mind, subscribe to these people. It's really important because a lot of people are working on their numbers, and it's just a good thing. It's, you support people, and it's good, and subscribing costs you totally nothing, and it makes that person's day. And thank you, Lenore, for that, and welcome in, Beth. Yeah, it makes their day. And sometimes people are reaching for goals, and it gets you that much closer to where you want to be. So it's always good to support people, and that's what this is all about. So Lenore is dropping everyone's channel, and that's how Lenore is. She's very handy. She's always there, and she is such a blessing to a lot of people. So we will get started. So the first, boy, I tell you, I really raked it in, guys. I hadn't been thrifting in about a week, and I was like, so like, I have got to get out of here and get to that thrift store. I was getting stir crazy, and welcome in, Bruce. I was getting stir crazy, and I had to get out of the house. Of course, I go to the Y and everything, but there comes a time where you want to get out, and I had that itch, so I definitely went ahead and went. It's good to see everybody. So Laura is back, so we will begin. And the first thing up, man, this was a score, and I mean a score. What we are looking at now is Tiffin Franciscan. It's a vintage crystal goblet, iced tea or whatever. You could also use these as a parfait, and this is either silver or platinum on that. And I got a hold of 12 of them. 12. And so you do have that little fine line as well around that. And these are Tiffin. Tiffin is very well known in the glass, the glass people that put out. And like I said, I always get, and this one in particular has like a little reservoir in the bottom. Well, maybe that was when I looked this up. I had such a hard time finding. Hey, Sharon, welcome in, and Tammy, welcome in. This came up a quadzillion things, so I had to really nail it down. And it is Tiffin Franciscan, which Tiffin is probably, besides Ellie Smith and etc., is right up there in the upper echelon. And how I was able to get 12, I could sell all 12, or I could break it up into two sets of six. And but it does have that really amazing thing on the bottom. I told him, I said, ladies, you got a whole section over there clear, and then another section on the other side clear. And they said, good. Well, I guess it was like six, like close at 7. So they will reload come tomorrow. But I thought that, man, and you can hear the crystal. Those are something else. Tiffin is really well known for quality glassware, and that's crystal. And Brian's like, but yeah, you could also use that as a parfait glass where you layer your things and stuff like that. So I had to really Google and look because it kept coming up different things. So I did nail it down. I do know what it is. So next up, Brian, you might want to put your blinders on. Yes, Thanksgiving. Couldn't you not imagine? And that's either silver or platinum. Couldn't you imagine serving your guest in something like that? Unforgettable. They'll say, man, where'd she get those? Those are hard to get a hold of. Next, Brian, you might want to put your blinders on. So, next up, we have these, and I was able to get a hold of 8 of these. Now, this was hey, Simone, honey, welcome in. I mean, the amount, that's why they had so much clearance after I left. So, are you ready, Brian? That ain't the right one. Let's get the right one. All right, there you go. Don't you dare. Oh, dear me, Brian, are you ready? Boom. That has got like a gold rim around it. And that is Libby, and I'll tell you exactly. We know you guys love colored glass, and I just happened to get them at a heck of a price, just saying. And I was getting ready to look that up, but these are Libby. And I'll bring it in and see how beautiful. This would be another good one to really, if you wanted to incorporate color into your dinnerware. Whoops. Let's spread that out a little bit. So here is the description. Oh dear me. These are Libby Juniper Green Teardrop 1980, and there's Romel. And there's Sandra. Welcome in and good morning to you. And these are Libby. It does have a gold tone rim around it, and they are from the 1980s, and they are Libby Juniper. I've had some Libby, sold some Libby in the past. It seems to be a pretty good seller. Mid-century modern. Let's see, the glass is made of high quality. Wait a minute. This says here that they were manufactured in 1958, making them an excellent addition to any vintage collection. Gold rim. So they're older than that. So these are very, very, very nice. They are dirty, but I always clean this stuff up before it leaves. And let me see to the inside there. But they are very nice. Very nice. And don't forget that thumbs up. Yeah, they're 1958. You would definitely be styling with these, if green is your color. And yes, hit that thumbs up. A lot of people like green. I mean, green is the very in, it seems. So I saw this and I thought, how amazing is this? I don't know how old it is, but it is aluminum. So first off, we will show you what this is. Look at that. You have your little birds and your little door, and open it up, and there's some more right there, a mirror that hangs on the wall, and it closes, and this is aluminum. I don't know how old it is, but it sure is pretty. Isn't that beautiful? And there's your hanger on the back of it right there. It's got a pretty sturdy hanger, but I just thought it was really, oh, it's got mirrors even on that. I could imagine that like hanging over like a shelf, and then right there, and have like figurines or whatever on your shelf, and you can see I didn't even notice that. That's new to me. Isn't that neat? It's pretty good sized, and I just thought it was, but it's all aluminum. It does have a latch on it that you can latch it closed if you choose so, but I thought it was really neat. And it does have a latch once I get it figured out here, and it is in working condition. And I just thought it was really, really neat. And welcome in, Carehell. Welcome in. Thank you for coming. I just thought it was neat, and it's all completely aluminum. I just thought it was I was just attracted to it. Stay there. And next up, Brian, you might want to close your eyes. He said, she is killing me too. Oh, this is so beautiful. Here we have, this is kind of in the same color. It's colored glass. It is very vintage, and look at that color. Beautiful, gorgeous, and welcome in, Carehell, or her name is Karen, whatever you guys. Look at the color. It's almost like the ocean. And it seems like everything I get these days has grapes on it. And I'm not for sure, guys. Let's take a quick picture just for giggles. And thank you guys so much for being here. I was attracted to the color of it. And I know it's something, there's a name behind it. And it is the most beautiful. It's almost like the color of the ocean in some places, but isn't that the blue? It's kind of blue green, and it's beautiful. So let's take a look. Let's see if I have any bubbling. That is really, wait a minute, we have a number on the bottom. FLA6, and then another number on the other side. So let's Google this. Sometimes, hey, Perla, honey, welcome in. Sometimes, guys, I go on instincts. I have bought so much glass over the last, since forever. And I know it's like, I know it's good. And I usually go ahead and just, you know, my inclinations are normally right. Most beautiful color you have ever seen. So let's see here. Uh-oh. If that's what I think it is, it's saying that it's a compote. And uh-oh. Let me make sure I got the right one. Let's go see what they're saying about it. It is spectacular now. Let's see. Vintage blue glass. Vintage blue glass, great pattern, pedestal bowl, blue glass candy bowl, vintage blue glass scalloped edge bowl, vintage kitchen. Now that's a long handle, but it's not, I wouldn't consider it a it says candy bowl. So I guess it's just a combination of a lot of things. And it is vintage, and yeah, it's a rare find, guys. It's rare. You just don't see this kind of stuff anymore. Let's go through, see what the varying opinions are here. My goodness, that thing's spectacular. Now, if we look at it like this, it is um, vintage blue satin glass Westmoreland. I've had Westmoreland in the past. So the jury may still be out. Isn't it beautiful, Perla? And sometimes the camera drowns out the colors, but that is something else. Footed ruffle. That's not the right thing. Hang on. But I know that a lot of this stuff, I know what has sold in the past, and I pretty much know, but it says vintage blue satin Westmoreland. And I've had that before. Thank you, Sharon. It is beautiful. Now, it's a little bit deeper. When I take it back, you can really see that beautiful color. And it's just really, I try to get a lot of colored glass because that's what people like. That seems to be trending, is color. You ought to see this thing in person. It's just breathtaking, and it is vintage. Just breathtaking. Most beautiful. It reminds me of some of the ocean water in different ports. You notice that around the oceans are different colors, which I find really spectacular. Now remember this, guys, all this stuff's going to be up. There will be no holds for me. Because when I buy something, I buy it because I'm going to sell it. That's the joy. So moving on. And thank you guys for being here. We got a good crowd out there. All right. This is so neat. Thank you for being here. Now, another thing that I noticed that's popular these days are these. This one is marked on the bottom with this right here. And just check out this gorgeous. I don't know if it was meant to have a candle under it, because here's your base. And look, looks like we have geisha girls going here. And of course, it's probably hand painted like most of these things are. And it's got the gold gilding and it's just gorgeous. Same on the back side. You have it sits on this pedestal and that's how it's displayed. Now, normally, and thank you for the hearts, normally when something is on a pedestal like this, it means it's kind of special. But isn't that beautiful? So I got that. I don't know if you put a light under it. I would take one of those little battery operated tea lights and there it would illuminate those holes. And wouldn't that isn't that beautiful? Oh yeah, put your tea light in that and just watch that come out of there like that. But that's pretty special. It's in good shape as well. And then and see I've got this one, this and I also have this one, but it has no base to it. But I also have that one and it's really more intricate than the other one is. So anyone that collects Japanese or Chinese things, got you covered. I've got a geisha girl over there. So let's see these. I'm going to leave these wrapped up because if I sell them, I'm not going to be silly to wrap them up. Now, what I'm doing, guys, when I sell glass, this is my new system. What I do is I cut some cardboard that's a little softer and I wrap it around these to where you have length here and here. That way, when it's setting, it won't there will be no part of the glass in contact with the box. So a lot of you will see that I have incorporated that and it seems to work really well. Takes a little more time, but it beats something being broken. But if you've got some distance on the bottom here, it's not going to touch the bottom, and then they fit very tightly together. So that is my new system. And I usually use the cardboard that I don't prefer to use. It's a little softer. I like the thick stuff. But the other stuff, like boxes that toilet paper come in a store, those are more flimsy because the toilet paper's light, and I just utilize that. That way it makes things a lot safer. So you have to come up with something as crazy as that post office is. I thought I brought that other box in here. Hang on, I got one more box. This is going up too. I forgot about this with the crosses on it. But that will be going up as well. Let me step over here and the other one. Oh my goodness, guys. Wait till you see this. When I seen it, I loved it. And I didn't even look at the price. I just grabbed it. All right, where's the top of my candy dish? There it is. So, I am back. Now, as far as I am the queen of candy dishes because I have sold so many of them that you got to excel in something, right? Soup is on. Oh boy. So, I find that another popular item is this right here. I didn't even Google that. When I seen it, I picked it up because when I get them, they don't last very long. And this particular one has a very beautiful pattern on it. They do not last very long. And that's why I get them. So I'm going to take a quick picture. This is vintage as well. Isn't it gorgeous? I have sold more. There's not a candy dish that's ever come through here that's never sold. Because people love them, especially, thank you, Deborah, especially the older ones. I have been picking this stuff out for so long, I just go on instincts and do it like that. Once, I don't know, I just have that. Of course, it's always marked vintage, and it is pressed because I do see a seam along the edge. So we're going to see what it is, and thank you again for being here. I appreciate it. But it is lovely. So, Indiana Glass Diamond Point Pedestal Candy Dish. And it is pressed. Manufactured in the 1960s. So this is the diamond point pattern from the 1960s. So this is old. It makes you wonder how these things survive all that time. So, Diana Diamond Point Pedestal. I see it at different prices. Wow. And see what confuses me. Sometimes there's so many darn descriptions and people call it different things. 6 inches in diameter at the rim. The dish will fit beautifully with any mid-century modern look or color scheme. But I always get them because I sell them all the time. Let's see. Indiana Glass Diamond Point lidded candy dish or compote. This 12 inches to the top of the lid. The dish is 6 inches in diameter in the rim. So it's from the 1960s. So this will be going up, and thank you guys. Penelope says she has one like that in black. Isn't that? I've sold my share. I can't tell you what I felt like was the most beautiful one because they never hang around that long. So yeah, this is decked out. Couldn't you see Christmas candy in that, or any kind of candy for that reason? But it is beautiful. Yeah, it does have the seam, so it's absolutely. Oh yeah, even it's decorated even right there. It's just amazing, and it won't last long, just saying. Beautiful piece. Now, boy, I tell you what, when I sing this next piece, it was like there was angels singing around it, and I went to it. I was in that area, and I went to it and picked it. I said, "Oh my God, that's fantastic. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, this one will be a little more pricey at the sale, guys, because it was a little more. And I didn't even Googled it. I just seen pink and went crazy. Look at that. Now, you want to talk about beauty and symmetry and flowing. There you go. And yes, it is pink. And look at this here. How beautiful is that? It was like it was just waiting for me. I was thinking it was Mikasha, but I'm not going to throw out any claims because the last time I thought I had a Mikasha, it was something different. However, thank you, Laura, I have sold my weight in Mikasha. You know, I've sold a lot of it. But Mikasha is known for that frosted. This thing is, oh my goodness. Just makes you want to shake your head. I seen it and it was like, I would have loved to had a picture of my eyes when I seen this thing. I was just in love. Okay, Sharon, you have a great rest of your night and we'll catch you later. And the sale is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. Yeah, you could do that. I'm going to make a quick, oh my God, if you would see this in person, you would have no words, but oh my God, that's beautiful. And it is gorgeous. Let's lift up the bottom. There's your screw on the bottom where it attached. That is just mind-blowingly beautiful. And we're going to do that search. It could be Mikasha, it could not be, because the last time I said that, it wasn't. So we're just going to see what we have. It just reeks specialness. So let's Google this. Maybe reeks was the wrong choice of words, but yeah, it is Mikasha. I can testify. Vintage Mikasha Rosella 2-tier serving tray made from pink crystal glass. Oh my goodness. Mercy. This, guys, this is, I mean, if you would see this, I know the camera sometimes doesn't do it justice, but this thing, it's Mikasha for sure. Guys, I'm looking at something right now. It's called Replacements Ltd. And it says Rosella 2-tier serving tray by Mikasha. And it goes on to the description. You know what this sells for? It's stifling. $119.95 according to, and it's also made in West Germany. I thought I would throw that one out there. And it didn't last long because it was sold. Let me see. That's about what I'm gonna put this up for, because it's Mikasha, vintage Mikasha Rosella crystal pink with flowers, West Germany. Now, does it get any better than that? No, I don't think so. But isn't that the most beautiful thing? And you can imagine, I would like to see my eyes when I seen this on a shelf, on the shelf, and boy, it didn't take me long to get over there, just saying. That is beautiful. I don't know what the age is, but it's a West Germany piece. Might be one, if someone likes West Germany, it might be one that you want to add to your collection. Oh my goodness. I had the picture on my there on my page. That is a Mikasha. That was a big Mikasha dish, and it was big too. And I don't know what other things that go with it, but man, that is something else. It makes me, I don't need it, but it is so tempting to keep this. It really is because it's just indescribably beautiful. That everything's tied on it. That's the most beautiful thing right there. But yeah, that is a beauty for sure. I had something I thought was Mikasha, but it wasn't. So I wanted to make for sure before I jumped out and said that. So let's see. What else did I get? Oh boy, if you like really, really old stuff, then this is your ticket. Let me see if that lid can. I picked this up. I usually make my round around the store because they have things in different places in the store, and there's more things out there. So you always want to make that corner to corner. Hey, nephew Troy, welcome in. You always want to make that corner to corner because I found the most spectacular, and I didn't even Google it. This is the last thing that I picked up before I left the store. Oh, this is different, guys. I didn't Google it. I knew it was special. I just didn't. I'm telling you, this thing is, and I don't even know what it is. Look, it's divided. There's a divider in that. And here's your edging right here. There's your bottom. And this is a little different, guys, from your, that's why I'm not for sure what it is. It could be a divided candy dish. And look at that. Look at this right here. So, just for giggles and just to see what we have, I'm going to Google. Look at that, guys. Is that not spectacular? Let me move it in. Now that could be Sandra. We'll find. Hey, Blue Rose Lady, welcome in. But this here is just, I'm just still have to be cleaned up. It's been in storage. But that is one beautiful serving tray. And thank you for dropping those links. Let me get a quick picture because I just picked it up because I thought it was really spectacular. I figured it was some kind of serving type deal, but we're going to find out. Man, this thing's gorgeous. Got the crosses, the hatch work right there. So I'm thinking, guys, this is pretty old just by the looks of it. I have never seen anything like it at all. So we're going to take a picture and welcome in everyone and thank you for being here. This thing is something else. But I felt like I didn't get a lot, but what I did get was really, and this is added too, and y'all have seen me in my, when I do these hauls, there is just a tremendous amount of beautiful items will be going up because I don't need none of them. Any of them, excuse my language. Mercy. So it says, this is a vintage round crystal divided bowl with a lid. The bowl features a starburst pattern on the top and vertical cut design on the sides. Similar items are sometimes identified as music boxes, trinket boxes, or relish dishes. So whoever said that, hey Jen, welcome in. It is a multi-purpose dish that can be used for serving snacks, condiments, or as a decorative item. Now, to me, the condiment, holy cow. Wow. Oh my goodness. I personally, I would use it like for condiments because of the division in it. See, you have that division in there, and you could put different whatever in here, and it does have a lid, and you just cover the lid and keep those pesky gnats out of it. Look at that, guys. I don't know how old this is, but it's old. And when I seen it, I just picked it up because I knew there was something special about it. And it's an amazing piece. I mean, you would think candy dish, but it doesn't have a little top knot right there. I tell you guys, this is quality. You can feel it in the glass itself. I'm not seeing any seams whatsoever on this beautiful piece. It's amazing. This was my last pickup on the way before I left. I mean, there's so many possibilities for that, and it does have good weight to it. It is beautiful. Earrings, rings, chains. Yeah, Carol, you could do that. If you're like me, you got a ring and a bracelet over here, a necklace over there. I am getting better. Since I moved I put the jewelry box, it was about 4 foot tall in my dining room because my dining room is pink, and up at the top border, it has pink and white roses in it on a greenish background. So I moved one to the other, and I've been filling it with stuff that I need to quit. It is so frustrating, guys, to put something down and see our house is 3,000 square feet. We've got a full basement, living room, dining room. There's 3 bedrooms up here, a hallway, and then another room at the end. There's also off to the left, there is a door that opens up for storage. It's all storage. There's a half bath up here. So it was built in 1926. By a prominent doctor in this town. And then the house next door was built in Civil War days. They said it used to be kind of like a Civil War rest stop for injured soldiers, and they would bring them across that yard over there. And somebody said, well, this house was over there. No, it was never over there. And thank you for the hearts. And so it is so true. The bigger the house, the more stuff you put in it. But yeah, it's like I said, this wasn't a very big haul, but the punch that this packs was well worth the show, right? But it packs a punch. But this thing here, I would love to know how old this thing is, but I don't see any indicators of how old it is. But this tray is my favorite. What's that? What'd you say? You could use that for bathroom Q-tips and cotton balls. Yeah, you could. That's so true. Put your Q-tips in there. It's got a good weight to it. But there could be multiple uses for that. You could use it for whatever. At first, when I looked at it, I thought, well, that's something for powder. Guys, I never even really looked on the inside. I picked it up and went right to the counter with it. But yeah, it's got that division in there. I knew when I seen it, I wanted it because I know you guys like things like this, so I accommodate that. So, but this here, I thought the color of this is I would love to have an entire set like Wouldn't it be wonderful to have a set of glasses like that? Oh my gosh. That's when we'd really be talking the big bucks. It's got FL43 and then the number 13. So that must be the identification markings, but that is the most beautiful color. Yeah, you could do all kinds of little doodads with that. I know. I would like to have a collection of that, and it probably will never happen. Did you ever find a mother pink lamp like the one you saw had before? No, I didn't. The only one I had, Blue Rose Lady, which went out, all that went out. It was pink and it was bigger and it had panels on it. And I took those panels off and put all the little plastic pieces and the screw together, put it in the box, taped the pieces onto the frame of the lamp because I knew in my heart of hearts if I didn't do that, so I took it apart. And I haven't seen one. The closest I found was the pink one that I sold to Minnie. But I'm looking, sometimes it's about being in the right place at the right time. And yeah, you just never know. Sometimes I venture out to the one that's about, if I go to Sellersburg, I'm halfway there in the one and another on Floyd's Knobs, and they have different stuff. And that's where I found that big silverware chest that is, guys, even empty, that thing was fifth because it couldn't go. It was bigger than 18 inches and it just couldn't go in a, where you put the box and put the bag over it. So the shipping on that was over $50 with it empty. And see, it came with silverware, and it's expensive and it's tarnish proof. I'm thinking about sneaking it off in the bedroom. And in that crate, now, guys, here's another thing: that shipping is going up. Some of you that may have received invoices may see an increase. It's going up, guys, and they say that it's going to come down after a certain time. I don't believe that. I mean, shipping is going up. It's crazy. Now, for example, I had, now this is no exaggeration, I had a box that weighed over 15 pounds. Then I had this other one over here that weighed maybe one weighed 15 and the other one weighed 10. But they were like, I've changed. I'm doing my brown wrapping paper. And do you know it was the same price to ship the 15-pound as it was? It was $10.92. One weighed 15 pounds, 3.9 ounces, and one weighed 10 pounds and 5.0 ounces, and they were both the same price. Now, I've had people contact me and say, "Are you sure your shipping's right? Are you sure? Did I miss T? Is T at Nana's?" And I said, "Yeah, I configured it myself. I've got a scale just like the post office does." And I said, "I'm telling you, that's what it is." And it was really sweet that they contacted me. But when you do it like that, it's cheaper. I will not fool with UPS whatsoever because they look at this box and they tabulate the weight of what that box should be. And I ain't going there because I sell glass. Then you look up and there was an additional charge, and I said, I'll just do it the postal system. That way I'll know what to expect. But yeah, it does take, many sellers won't use UPS anymore due to the extra. Yes. I said, that's it. I'm done. I said, why? I went in there and I said, why in the world am or am I getting charged extra after package is already accepted here and shipped out? And he said it was something about the DWT and it was a two. So I don't know. But I looked up and I'm like, that I just quit fooling with them, guys. It's not worth it. UPS treats a package like a soccer ball. That's true. I mean, I realized that they load a lot of packages, but my gosh, when it says fragile, hello, knock, 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 it doesn't mean do it like that. It means like that. And that's the way they do. That's why, I just won't fool with UPS anymore. It's not worth it. It is not worth the headache thinking, was that in the right DWT zone? But when I asked, I was mad when I asked him. I said, I might have blonde in my hair, but I don't have the intelligence of a blonde. Hello. I'm pretty blunt, guys. If I get tired of something, and I go in there with both feet. A tutorial on what, Penelope, how to handle people when you've had enough. I mean, I don't, there should be no surprises when that thing comes out of there, out of that printer. It should be, and you've weighed it and you've measured it. It shouldn't be. We need to write down your Gina isms and put them into a book and sell it. Yeah, I have a lot of sayings, but yeah, I try to be nice. I take so much, and I can tell when I'm about ready to get the RA. I can tell, and nobody can stop it. My husband, he gave up years ago, but there's no sense in something like that. But sometimes you just have to I take so much, and I'm a nice person, but when I get it, and when I'm up here, I come out swinging. I really do. I try not to be hateful, but people push my button. Oh yeah, I remember one time Shannon, she's always had these real high dollar video games and these systems. And one time a friend lived across the way borrowed a video game, and I said, "Where's that video game?" She goes, "Well, he still got it." That cut it right there. And I called over there and I gave him, I said, they didn't give that away. And he was all mouthy, the neighbor, and he come to the house and he said something. And my husband looked at me and he said something about apologize. I said, "No, I won't." I said, "My word stands." I said, "Do you think they give those games away?" Then my husband just blushed red and walked away. But I said, I said, "You don't take a game that's $60-$70 and have it, it's not right." And I'd stepped in. I did. I said, "You're not." One time this one kid had a game and I cross-examined him, and he went out the door and was going down the road, and I was still yelling at him, and he just smiled and kept going. I said, "You don't borrow my daughter's stuff when it costs like that and keep it forever." Man, I went out the door on him and he's walking fast. They'd have seen an unidentified flying object going over my house and it'd been him. But I've always been pretty protective of my daughter. That's the only one I have. I tell you, when I get mad, one time my daughter had a manager and she kept making her stay over so that she can give other people breaks. And I'm telling you, she goes, "Well, can you stay over and let this that's not right." And she talked about it. And one fateful day, I was in that store and I saw her, and Shannon goes, "Mom, don't do it. Don't do it." I said, "She got lucky because I was this close to telling her, instead of, why don't she give them a break instead of sitting on her behind and doing nothing?" I said, "They're not going to take advantage of you and get away with it. Because when I come in, there'll be fur flying." I said, "Nobody does my little girl like," well, she wasn't a little girl, but I get really, we all, as mothers, we all get pretty nasty when it comes to our kids. But I came real close to walking up to her and really telling her off. I was going to tell her, "You get your lazy rear end." I said, "You're up here making the big bucks and you ain't doing nothing to start with. You get yourself and do it." But I refrained because Shannon said don't do it, so I didn't do it. I've been a ball of fire in my days, guys. One fateful day, a movie titled Gina Unhinged. But I'm a really good person. I'll do anything to help anybody. But I'm telling you, I go so far, and I know when I can't control it. Hey, Francis, welcome in. I can't control it, and I know when I'm about ready to break, and nothing can stop it. I mean, I'm pretty mouthy now when I get upset, but you know, oh, you need to come have a word with my work office state. Well, I'd do it. I wouldn't. I'd give them a chance to explain, and then I would light them up probably. And how are you doing, Cal? That's Dusty Leather and Lace. Are really. Hey, she was married to a guy that looked like Richard Gere, and we had a lot of fun with that. And yeah, but I've been known to straighten people out. I was thinking, see, any place I ever worked, I was always a good employee. And I had this one lady, I must have too nice written across my face. Well, if it's a man, then he already believes that he is superior to you because he's your boss. And that's when the level bull carries on. If he's male, then he automatically thinks he's superior. No offense, guys. So, and I always really excelled at what I did. And I had this lady, and she said something about, "Oh, well, he's probably got a good reason there. Prayers for him." Cancer's a bad thing, guys. If he's having radiation or chemo, no wonder he's in a bad mood. But bless his heart. And she kept making cracks, and I got tired of it. So I went to the general manager of the store, and I said, "You know what? I won't take her mouth." I said, "If she's jealous, she needs to build a bridge and get over it." And it just so happened his boss was in the same back there too. And she went back there, and boy, they ripped her up. She came out and was scurrying to the other manager. I said, "I won't take her mouth. You get her straight, because I won't take her mouth." I said, "If she's insecure, still looks like Richard Gere." Oh wow. So that was the ace in my hole. When you're a good worker and you're kind of cute, you get your way. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I said, "I won't take her mouth." Man, they must have ripped into her. you know I'm willing to work with anybody, but if she's got a problem, she better take it somewhere else. I went right to the top. Next thing I know, I seen her scurrying across there going to the next boss. Well, it wouldn't do no good. I didn't talk to the head honcho. I was thinking this morning, I said I'd like to, while she was scurrying, I'd like to put my foot out and tripped her. No, I'm just kidding. Back then, I may have if I'd have been close. So, isn't it amazing the things we think about? I mean, this was like years ago. And I said, oh, wouldn't I love to have been there to stick my foot out? They're thinking, gee, Gina, you've got a mean streak in you. But then I had one time I had somebody, it was when I was younger and I was working, I was probably 19, I was working in a drive through and I went to put a $20 bill and one was missing and I caught it and I slammed the drawer shut and I said, I want a reading done on this drawer. And guess what? It was $20 off. Somebody reached in there and took that. So as we go down the line, but somebody, when I was turned away, someone nabbed that $20 bill. And I know they did it because I had a good memory and I knew what was in that drawer. So one of the managers said, from now on, you guys don't share no drawer. He goes, that way, if you're short, it's your fault. I said, well, what if they get in there? And he said, well, slam their fingers in it. I said, I seen you in mine. Do I start with yours first? He ain't no better than anybody else. And then come to find out, one of the other managers was stealing, and she's the one that took the money. And we went and took lie detector test, and I didn't have nothing to hide. And this was really odd, guys. The lie detector guy said, do you think the so and so person would have a reason to set you up? I said, well, now that you mention it, nowadays you would have had their neck. I know. But, people taking money, and they took it out of the wrong person's drawer because I have a photographic memory. And when I have a 20 in that drawer and go to put another 20 in there and the other one's not there, it doesn't take Sherlock to figure out what happened. But then I had another experience. I worked at KFC. I was young. And one day, there was this other employee and she was talking with somebody and I seen them filling out one of those cards, comment cards. And I watched them walk over to that box. I know. And they put it in there. And I went right back to the office and the manager was a female. I said, Joanne, I think you need to go check that box. And she did, and she looked at it. And I said, I got a question for you. Does that sound like me? And she goes, no. She goes, well, I heard him back there by that area talking about it. And so I come back around there and I looked at that girl and I said, don't look like the cat who swallowed the canary just yet. We know what you did. And the manager overheard it. You know what she's afraid of? I was going to get her job. He asked me that. I'm telling you, Francis, that's what he asked me. But yeah, she was afraid I was going to get her job. I didn't want her job. It's crazy. He goes, do you think so and so? I'm telling you, that's what he asked me because he done figured it out. See, he knew Usually they let the guilty ones go first, followed by the innocent one. And I knew it wasn't me. So, but, sometimes you work jobs and there's just people will not mind their business. They're always stirring up trouble. Yeah, I heard that. I seen a documentary on how people fool a lie detector test. Oh, that reminds me. Let me tell you this story. I used to play bunco with a lady, and she said that she had a job interview after she left bunco, or a party, not our part, not the bunco party, and she had some brownies. Well, she went for the interview and they tested her blood. People these days and not have a job. I know, Kel. They're just people are crazy. Some people it's not the most comfortable, but sometimes it's needed. That's true. And so she went to the party and ate these brownies. Well, you know what they put in brownies back in the day. Well, she went for the job interview and failed because she didn't pass the drug test. She had marijuana in her system. And she didn't know that they put that in there, and she didn't know. And there she goes and takes a drug test and has marijuana in her system. You know, couldn't you hear her trying, wet, 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 trying to explain that? But I mean, a lot of times when people lie, there's certain, now you can tell more about a person's body language than you can tell by any lie detector test. I remember when we lived, our rental house is going up on the auction block November the 13th. Thank you, God. It needs to be sold. Who wants to pay taxes on two different places? So it's going to be sold, and I'm going to be there, and my husband's going to take off, but it needs to be sold. Guys, if you ever have an extra home, do yourself a favor and sell it, because you don't know what they're up to. That we have, it's on almost a half an acre, and they let all that grow up with little, and it never looked like that. And it took my husband and brother-in-law a couple days to get that cut down. And I couldn't go down there because I would have been so upset. And I'm like, get this thing sold. I said, I'm not dealing with rent. If you don't have to deal with a renter, don't sell that thing and get it out of your hair. Because I tell you what, yeah, your blood pressure. Tell you what, and the renters have more rights than you do, and that's your property. Just saying. So but if you have, and it was paid for a long time ago, so, and your heart rate, yeah. There are some people that are such cold and calculated liars that they can pass a test, but yeah, oh my gosh. Well, Penelope, they ask you what's the first lie you ever told in your life. Mine was a pencil. When you're dealing with a criminal, that is one of their ammo. They pass with flying colors. Mama Marge is in charge of bunco and bingo at our local church. You could come to Florida. The ladies would love you. Boy, wouldn't I love to come to Florida, the Sunshine State. But I was outside yesterday, and we have Halloween decorations up, and we have this huge, coming off like the corner of the house, we have this huge spider web. It's made out of like rope or whatever. and there was a plastic stake in the ground, and guess who fell over it? And it's my husband's right. I never look down when I walk. And here I did a leaping Luenda, as I call it, and I just fell right forward. I didn't. My knees was red from the impact. It was on grass, and I'm like, I hope nobody saw that. And I'm like, I never look down when I walk. Man, I went head over heels. That's what I call a leaping Luenda when you fall over something. No, I didn't. I just got up and headed to the side of the house, hoping no one's seen. I'm like, that'd been concrete. And I took some ibuprofen because I knew that I was going to be sore. And I had to take, I don't take a lot of medicine. Hey, Francine, welcome in. I don't take a lot of medicine, so I took two ibuprofen last night, and I just took two this afternoon because I could feel it, guys, right on my. I guess I went like that, and it just happened so fast. Oh, she broke her hip. How's she doing, Kel? Is she? I hope she's doing okay. And good to see you, Francine. But yeah, I did a what I call a leaping Lawenda right over that. And thank you, Laura, for that. Right over that steak. And oh man, when you get older, things hurt a little bit more. Slow recovery. She's 88, had a hip replacement. Yeah, sometimes when when you're older, you don't have the your bones are a little more weaker, and a tendency to break a little easier. But I tell you, we never know when we'll have to have that spare part, a knee replacement, or I've heard of people having shoulder replacements and everything. Yeah, we don't bounce back like we used to, when we get older. But yeah, I got right back there. Her whole life has changed. Oh yeah, she's probably on a walker, isn't she, Kel? Walking on a walker. You have to really. Do you live near your mom, Kel? And see, that's another thing. There's so many. I'm 37 and need a knee replacement, but doctors won't do it. They say because I'm too young. It's a shame. But here's the thing: with a knee replacement, you've got if there's no cushioning in there, that where the bone wears against each other and it breaks them down. It really does, So, and they have to put that big metal shank in there, and it's got to be a good you know solid thing. But when something's rubbing, moving like this, and there's no the cartilage is worn out, it's gonna really uh, I'm bone on bone. They still don't care. I have insurance, so it would be paying for it. Well, maybe, Katie, maybe there's a history of something like this in your family. Maybe you inherited. She lives with me. I have to be with her to walk or stand, even with the walker. Yeah, it's good that, that you're there with her and bone to bone. Now, what, so many years of that rocking on that with no cartilage in there. I believe I'd get a second opinion or just walk out. But yeah, that's true. That is very true. And I think there's a shot that they can give you. I think it's called Prolia or something like that. They can give you for bone density and to build that up. But we have to realize that society is getting older, and a lot of they have to be taken care of. And that used to be my forte. That's what I did. I helped, people, and I worked for a company and everything. And it was very rewarding, but yet it was very sad. Vitamin D. Katie, my son broke his knee and can't have surgery, but he got a lot of relief from PRP infusions. And they get older, and it's rewarding. It's really rewarding because, right, Francis, I now have a family with bad, yeah, it's hereditary, even though we drink milk like it's going out of style. And it's true. To be able to, and I'm telling you guys, when I had a client, they were treated like royalty. They really were. It's your own stem cells and nutrients. Okay, so that stem cells are really handy. Katie, it's not really about calcium or eating right. It's what happens to us as we age, even at 37. Yeah, those stem cells are quite miraculous because they have binding molecules in them. And but the most interesting client I had was he was like 35, and he had Williams syndrome, and he just loved to eat sweets and all that. And I can remember coming home telling my husband, I said, if he ever gets diabetes, he's in a world of hurt. Well, it wasn't a month later, they took him to the doctor and he had diabetes. So, and his mother wanted to control it with his diet. Well, when I was out with him, I wouldn't let him, but he wanted I said, there's sugar in it. I said, you're not supposed to have sugar. And he would stand there thinking that I was going to give in. I said, well, it's what you have to drink water. I said, because if you want to get that blood sugar under control, you're going to have to do it. Yeah, allowed there to heal. So yeah, and he loved sugar. I never saw. I said if he ever and he did become diabetic. He really did. Mm. Yeah, pain's a bad thing. When I had these two implants put in, I tell you what, it wasn't fun. I wouldn't, unless you're getting the full plate that has the three spokes on it. I'll never get another one, and I've got two of them, and they're expensive. Yeah, because if you can get something like that and not be in pain, I hate to see people in pain. It just, it really, really bothers me to see that. But yeah, sometimes see the helpful things that we find out in the chat just by general conversation, that might help someone else. Say she's not cutting up tonight. Something must be wrong. Hey, Face the Ace. My dentist, oh my gosh, Kel, wants me to do a couple. It's expensive. I got two down here, and I'm telling you. And Brian, he suffers from sciatica, and he's going to get some injections, which will help him with the pain. And I tell you, back in your back, that sciatica, you have a lot of nerves running off of that, and it's really painful. It really is, guys. I tell you, I've had a couple pinched nerves, and my neck has got degenerative disc in it. And thank you for dropping that, Laura. And I've had a couple pinched nerves, and it runs down your arm. It feels like it's on fire, and it's miserable. And I went to have therapy, and they would do this thing on. I'd have my head, and he would go like that because it kind of lifts those discs up a little bit. I've heard that I'm doing chemo, IVG therapy, and methotrexate. Pinch nerve. Brian, it really isn't. We'll be praying for you, Francis, because that's a lot to go through. You know, chemo makes you very ill. You know, I'm telling you. You know, it seems like they could do something with cancer besides that. They gave me injections in my knee, and they said it was going to help, and only made the pain 1,000 times worse. My goodness. I grew up having endometriosis. Doctors threw pain med at me like candy. I resist taking it. Now, I had endometriosis, Penelope stage 4, and uh, like the endometriosis, that attaches. It's almost like a spider web that it grows in there, and it can turn to cancer. Endometriosis can turn into cancer. So they went in there, and I mean, they went in for a couple of fibroids, and when they did, they seen a big old hot mess. And he said he came out, and I was still, how they put you out, and doctor looked at my husband. He said, "Has she ever been in any pain?" And my husband said, "Not that I know of." He said, "Well, it's not cancer, but it's stage 4 endometriosis, and it's all got to go." So, and I was in my late 30s. And yeah, Francis, I've got a really close friend that lives up the road here that has gone through cancer and chemo a couple of times. And it's hard. I mean, you're sick as a dog, and just they give you something for your stomach, but it's hard, and it really takes a lot out of you. Oh, yeah, that can be very painful. Francis, are you very sick from your treatments there, Francis? I know that chemo is like dynamite. It really is. You know, they can put a man on the moon, but they can't get rid of cancer. But if they totally had something to get rid of it, then they wouldn't make money on the chemo and the surgeries and stuff like that. It's kind of sad. But yeah, I think that's the only surgery I've ever had. Yes, Leslie, trying to keep up with comments here. I'm slow. Much love and healing vibes for you. Yeah, it's really hard. It does. I don't have cancer. It's lupus. It's affecting my brain and kidneys. Oh, Francis, I'm so sorry. Bless your heart. Oh, wow. It's a way for them to limit the population. There is a cure for cancer. I believe that. I believe, there's so much money made off of people suffering, and that's what people are suffering. And lupus does all kinds of things to you. My goodness. You must have an extreme advanced case of that. It's really sad, guys. Guys, we never know the what the path that people that have cancer and lupus really go through. It's almost a survival from day to day. They want to do surgery on her wrist right now. Francis hugs and love. Yeah. Boy, Francis, is your lupus hereditary, or do you know? That stuff is terrible. Francis, we're praying for you because I know you're fighting a battle right now. But just know that we're all here for you. And I know you're fighting a battle. I know you are. And sometimes it's good to, that's why people enjoy auctions so much, because they can come in there and it kind of gets their mind off. Oh, I'm so sorry, Francis. It gets their mind off what they're going through. And it's kind of like, it's therapeutic, really. Down 60. Oh my gosh, Francis. We'll definitely be praying. I didn't know that I knew you was going through some stuff, but I had no idea. I am so sorry. That is awful. I tell you, we don't know what people go through when they're ill like that. And I'm telling you, that lupus is about knocks you over. Oh, THC help with your nausea. Now, in the state of Kentucky, they legalized that medical marijuana. You can't. It's it's legal. It's illegal here, but you go across the bridge about 25 miles, and it becomes. And that does help people. It really does. It helps you be able to. Oh, they tried it, made you sicker. It's growing in every yard here. Oh my goodness. Do you live in Oregon, Kel? I think you live in Oregon, I think, if I remember. Back in the day, they used to try to hide it and they'd grow it in a cornfield Oregon, yeah. And then the old helicopter now they have drones that fly over. But, the thing of it is, they thought that marijuana and all that LSD was bad in the 70s. Look what's out there now. Look what's out there now. Meth and all kinds of stuff's out there. you know. But there's much. I mean, there's some things that if someone takes a mixture, it'll just kill them right there. Boom, that's it. And they say that meth is so addictive. One time is all it takes. One time. It's really sad. Thank you, Laura, for dropping that. But yeah, it's uh, it's really crazy out there. We watched a series, Nine Perfect Strangers. Well, Francis, I hope they can give you something will come up that'll give you some relief, because that's miserable. That is just terrible. Fentanyl is offering people. Yeah, fentanyl, that's a bad one. I'm telling you, they've got now in this little town. It's up further north. They were handing out, it's been years ago, well, probably about 7 years ago. They was handing out needles to these addicts, I guess to keep that HIV down. And it's like, and then somebody got hold of a bunch of them and was selling it. And then they cut them off. But to me, that's saying, well, here it is. Go ahead. They're contributing to a drug addict. You know, I mean, granted, they might be clean, but still it's contributing to deviant behavior out of people. And then just like the what's that stuff that counteracts an overdose? Oh, what's the name of that? They've got that where I couldn't believe it when mom fell. The paramedics who came gave her fentanyl. I thought fentanyl was kind of something that, huh? Narcan, that's it. Fentanyl. Now, that's addictive as well. I bet. Hey, Shell Bell, we're chewing the fat, talking about everything. And, they make the fentanyl patches and stuff like that. I had a little lady that would put one on her arm and date it, and it was only good for a couple days. And yeah, that stuff is like dynamite, I'm telling you. But, uh, and now, my mom wore those before she passed. Now you have to go to a pain clinic and yeah, the patches, they keep up with what they give you and stuff like that. And my little client just had constant pain. So I was there one day and she goes, she didn't have any more. And she was going to have to wait and see her daughter used them too. And I tell you, after I left, I got on the phone and said, hey, your mother is going to have to wait 2 days to get her stuff. And she goes, thank you for telling me. I'll take her one right over there. I think if you have certain kinds of cancer, it's the only thing for your pain. It's sickening that the police and EMs can have Narcan, yet people with diabetes have to pay an arm and a leg to have medication that keeps them alive. Yeah, morphine is usually administered at least. That's what my mom was given when she fell and broke her hip. Fentanyl, they need to change that. Pain management doctor is what I'm going to see. Yeah, and they keep good count on that stuff because, just like the doctors, they can only give so many. And if they get caught, they can lose their license for that fentanyl and gabapentin, which is used for nerve pain, is a controlled substance here. So I don't know what they're doing with that. I never liked the stuff. Well, I'm glad, Brian. It'll give you some relief so you won't be in pain, so much. Because that's sciatica now. When you're talking about nerves, now that's serious business. But yeah, they're. Then I had this one client, and she was bipolar, and she wouldn't take her medicine. And she was getting the pain medicine, and her niece would come over. I mean, I'm not an eavesdropper, but when they come over and go in the bedroom and you hear pills rattling, but yet she turned her sister in for selling her some of her medicine. She turned her in and she was giving hers away. Now, that wasn't right neither. She was contributing to I was ever so glad to get out of there in my life. My son's pain doc is also his pastor, very transparent about it all. Love him. That's good. Yes, Dusty. My mom was diagnosed with cancer and at home on hospice. Doctor prescribed fentanyl and we stored it in a cupboard and never touched it. Yeah, sounds like we need prayers all the way around. Like I said, we just never know what people are going through, and you know, but medication's not always the answer. And that fentanyl is not. That stuff is really strong. I go to the dentist and he gives me what he give me. He used to give quite a bit of oxycodone, and I wouldn't take it. Now the Motrin, yes. Well, we've got prescriptions sitting here now that probably needs to be dumped. You know. Oh yeah, that I know somebody that had to come off of that, and it was not pretty. Let me tell you. The injection is not as often as pain medication. Yeah, if you can get something that'll get you through, fentanyl should only be administered under doctors. Oh, yeah. And see, I guess that's where the pain clinic comes in. Our healthcare system is subpar here. Even Motrin is hard on your kidneys and liver, right? Mom passed 12/21/21, ovarian cancer and met metastatic to stomach. Oh, sorry to hear that, Deborah. 3 to 6 months most of the time. I tell you, the health field is a big racket. I mean, as long as people are living, we get older. You're hearing about cancer. And another thing we're hearing about more is dementia, you know, and it seems like that's happening more and more. Yeah, that's really hard. And see, Brian, let's see, has it been a year already since your mother passed, Brian? Or I think it has been. I don't know. I can't keep up with it. Hmm. Sad, sad, sad. The food we eat nowadays causes a lot of. Oh yeah, and they pump all these chickens and everything with steroids and stuff like that they want to get them fattened up and get them to market. They want to do that. Dementia is being very related to microplastic. Really? Oh, I didn't know that. I heard that Alzheimer's is a precursor to dementia. You have Alzheimer's first, and then dementia comes after that. I know we don't know really what's in our food. Last September, so it's coming up on a year then, isn't it, Brian? Mine was 1 year, yeah. See how fast time goes? Yeah, look it up. Can't say the G word. Oh, wow. Yeah, I tell you. See, there's always going to be, people are human, they get sick, and, doctors always guaranteed a job because, well, I'll tell you, a friend of mine, talked about this months ago, they put the doctor, and it was for because she had good insurance, told her that she needed another pacemaker, and she thought he was going to change the battery out. Well, he put another one in there, and it was too big, and the little corner never healed. And finally, it was draining some real nasty stuff. And she started seeing another doctor, and they said, "You didn't need the first pacemaker." And then he must have put one in that was too large. And I'm and I think Humana went after him because and she trusted him just, you know, with everything, and he did an unnecessary procedure, and it could have killed her, So Humana got a hold of him. He probably didn't have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of, because I'm telling you, my father passed away on our first wedding anniversary in 2022 from dementia, but he passed away peacefully with mom next to him. Oh, sorry, Jan. Tell you, it's hard. It's really hard that when we lose our parents, it really is. We just, oh, sad. It seems like dementia is becoming more and more common today. Oh. And see, that's hard to watch. That dementia and stuff is really hard to watch. The deterioration of a person's mind. It really is. Mine had dementia, and it ain't fun to deal. Oh, yeah, I know, Brian. It's my mother-in-law had it. It's a bittersweet day on June the 10th, but I tell everyone that it was his last blessing to Joe and me. Oh, it's really hard. They have medicine to slow it down, but it won't stop it. And it's really sad to watch it. My dad had sundowner. Yeah, right. I've heard of that too, Penelope, where they're really good during the day, and when it starts getting afternoon, it really shows. Oh, yeah, the sundowners is when they're fine during the daytime, and then once it hits nightfall, they can't. It's their mind really so, but it affects different people different ways. Some people, my mother-in-law, she was she might ask you the same question about 3 minutes after the fact. Is that you, Gizmo? Here, buddy. I seen you. Now, where'd you go? And it just really, yeah, dementia at night. You're fine during the day, and then at night you just, you can really see it, where the person may not remember things that just. But Gizmo, you little devil, he's rotten. But yeah, it is. It's sad to watch it. But I tell you, if you work in the home health care thing, you better. It's hard. It really is. Sometimes mom would stay up at night. Please take care of all. I'm heading off now. All righty, Deborah, and thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Yeah, dementia is there's so many people with it, and it's almost comparable to, I mean, the amount of people that get it is almost comparable to people that all the people that get cancer almost. Good Lord, guys, it's 10:48. You guys, I better change mine. You better start calling me Wendy. So I'm going to let you guys go. And sometimes we have serious talks. Sometimes we laugh, which may happen tomorrow. So I will catch you guys later. Thank you. I had a whole bunch of people in here, and I really appreciate that. Good night to all you guys. You take care. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. Love all the way around the states. I love you guys. Have a good rest of your night. Bye bye, guys. Thank you so much for being here.